everyone, it's Nikki from Permanent Planning, and today I thought I'd go ahead and share with you my pile of items that I created for Rosie Studios over the last 6 months. I was so excited to be a part of their creative club, and I'm looking forward to joining in for the next session. And I thought it would just be a fun little activity to go through and show you the projects that I created while on their team. Okay, let's do it. Let's go through this giant pile. I have here a lot of 12 by 12 layouts, along with outside the page protector 6 by 8 layouts, some TNs, and even a spread in here. So I'm just going to pull them aside and then we can go through them one by one. I have them all in order of when I began as a creative club member with Rosie Studios to the final one that I have created for the team. Okay, so let's start with this one. This collection is by Starlight, and I absolutely love it. It is one of their smaller collections, and I think it's one of their older collections as well. It has a lot of mermaids and fairies, so very cutesy and girly and perfect for my daughters. But I actually wanted to try to pull out a lot of the elements that were not so theme specific to create this spread and make it more of a dreamy spread. It was just about a story about my daughter and what she says before bedtime, so super sweet. I also love challenging myself to create this layout using the 6 by 6 papers. So I was able to tear the page, which then I could, put 2 and 2 together and then here add a band. And I really love how it came together. I also love when I print on vellum. I just feel like it adds that airiness as well. And the little texture of the twine here with the sparkle is just really sweet. So that is number one, my first one for the team. I was pretty proud of it. So on to the second one. I was just getting into my groove on YouTube, so I had decided to create this layout here specifically as a process video, and it went well. It was my first process video, so it wasn't easy, and it was interesting to try to talk while creating. So I haven't not done a lot of those since then because it's, it is a task, but I do love how it came together. I love this wreath look. This collection here is using Nature's Gift. So a lot of these florals and a lot of the animals that are in this collection, I think are native to New Zealand or Australia. So I just love how it came together. It was about a story of us going to the zoo. So it was a perfect collection to use. This paper here is just cardstock from Michael's, and it's pretty thin and flimsy, so it's not my favorite, but as I go along, you'll see I learned my lesson and I start using better paper. For this one, I also printed out, I designed this little tag on Illustrator and just cut it out. So that was a fun way. Sometimes I write, sometimes I like printing out the story. This 12 by 12 is one of my absolute favorites that I've ever created. I love the flip over. I love the texture that I created and added to the photos and to the edges. And I absolutely just love this collection. So this collection is the Bellevue collection from Rosie Studios, and it is precious. It is feminine and beautiful, and I can't get enough. It's actually one of those collections that I will buy more than one of. So that tells you a lot. I love adding twine and string and bows. It's just perfect. So as you'll see going forward, I did use this collection along with another one a few times because it's my absolute favorite. Okay, so here we see I received my pretty white paper. So I had gotten this from scrapbook.com. It is the Basil Avalanche white cardstock, and now it feels like a really sturdy 12 by 12. This collection is Roll With It, and it is awesome. And I feel like a lot of Rosie Studios collections just work so well with my family and our activities and our lifestyle and our kids' interests. So a lot of these elements in this one were just so relatable. So I added some hidden text under this tag here and the title on the bottom. And I really love how this all came together with all the little die cut elements just clumped together there along the edge, and being able to use such a strong, bold pattern, but not overtaking the photo. Okay, so here's another one that I used with Roll With It. I created it at the same time, but this one never actually made it to Instagram. I don't know what happened, so I'm going to have to share it, next year or this year in July when the season is right. But it is another outside the page protector 6x8 page, and I love that I used mixed media in this one. I think the font, the alpha, were just, blending into the background too much, and it's not my first thing to do, but I love that worked out so well. This photo of my daughter roller skating is perfect for this collection, and I was able to use these two giant roller skate die cuts, and it's another great story to add into her 6x8 album. Okay, and here is the one that I created in my book. This is just a recollections book from oops. Oh, there was my word from last year. Sorry, let me just find it. I lost it. Okay, here it is. So I just used this dot grid journal for art journaling, writing in my word of the year. And, sometimes I would go in and create these cute little scrapbook layouts. And I used a lot of the By Starlight for this one as well. So here's just a photo of my daughter and a story. It is a personal story, so I'm not going to turn it around, but I printed it out and put it on that tag. And I really love this. So this 12 by 12 is using Roll With It again. I just really love this collection, and it just fits our family so well. Like, it's just so perfect. So my daughters were being silly and sticker poxed their faces, and I love how this came out. I love this paper, and I was able to put the stickers under and over and all along the edge. And if you've ever used Rosie Studios before, you know that you'll never run out of die cuts. There's just so many die cuts and stickers and chipboards and so many little elements that I was able to really go to town. And I love that because I feel like this is such a replication of, their faces. So it's a really great story. I love this one. Okay, so for this one here, this goes into, I have a few 6x8 albums, so 3 for each of my children and then 1 for me. And this was a story that I used the Work With It collection. No, I'm sorry. It's called Work of Heart collection. And I love this. I had seen Dearly Dee create this sort of style where it is, she used her French scissors. So I'm just going to show you these ones here. Super cool. I had bought them at Michael's and it was my first time using them. So I have a little private tag in there with my story. And I was able to really make a fun layout about a story that I wanted to remember. Okay, here's a story about my son, finally. I know, again, I'm inspired by either a photo or the artwork, or the product, and it seems like my daughters get a lot of attention, but it's just because it wasn't working out. And maybe because I am drawn to the more feminine sides. This is my first story of him during the Rosie Studios time. But anyways, I used the Bellevue collection for this one, and I just wanted to pull a lot of the greens. So in the collection, there's a lot of pinks and blues and greens, and I wanted to create a monochromatic 12 by 12 layout to tell a story about my son's first haircut. And so I had wrote out the story on some sticker paper there, clear sticker paper, and used these are not I'm sorry, these are not Rosie Studios. They were just in my stash, but I love how this came together. Okay, here is one TN. I think I did 1 or 2 TNs. I'm not quite sure. And this is about our dog named Poppy. She's actually getting groomed right now. So I really loved this paper. So where is this paper from? Now that I'm showing you, I don't know if I remember. I think it's from, let me just double check here. Yeah, okay. So while I'm here, I might as well show you. I keep all of Rosie Studios die cuts in these iris cases, and I label them here. And so now I can see that that's the dog. So it's from the Unconditional collection. And I, don't talk about our dog a lot. I have a lot of stories with 3 kids and all of our events and activities. So I wanted to, use this cute paper and write a little story about her. All right, here's another favorite. I absolutely love it. I was inspired by Instagram, and you're constantly seeing all these beautiful layouts. So I know that I was inspired by Desiree, I believe is her name, and I will link her below as well. I had seen one of her 12 by 12s and absolutely loved it, where it was, half of the page was one pattern paper and the other half was another, and then it kind of just like exploded, and I loved that look. So this was a story about me and my son we went into a store called Ethereal, and I love that I was able to add in the ephemera card from the store. I ended up using, this is the, is it Bellevue? No. Or is it, sorry. So now I'm getting confused. Yes, it is the Bellevue collection. So I have the Bellevue collection in this one, and I'm just trying to see if the flowers are the same. Yeah, okay. So it is the Bellevue collection. So Wildwood is another one of my favorite collections, as well as this one, Bellevue. So they do look similar. As you can see, the next 12 by 12 here, they just have a lot of similar tones, and I think that's why I love them both so much. But this is the Bellevue collection, and I loved how it all came together, and the 3-dimensional butterfly there, super cute. Okay, so like I was saying, this is Wildwood, another favorite, and it has a lot more earthy tones like this, and maybe like a little bit more mask. It's very feminine and pretty, but it has a little touches of masculinity in it. So I told this story about my husband and son, and I love this paper. This paper almost reminds me of like a deer, their little dots. So cute. Okay, so here I'm using Wildwood again. I'm pretty sure my next few are Wildwood because I loved the collection. I must have just bought it and then used it up. So I love this torn look here on top of a pattern paper. I have the photo here along with the text and the story written down on the tag with some added texture in the ripped twine and puffy stickers. I try to use a lot of different elements, chipboard and ephemera, and I used one of the die cuts as the title. Okay, so this one is using Bellevue, and the stripe paper actually has some gold foil on it, so that's super cool. I know that this one actually was a sketch that I followed along with from A Cherry on Top. So it was just a story about us getting milkshakes, and I loved, obviously my kids, but I loved the wallpaper that they had in the milkshake place. So I wrote a story about that and called that one done. Okay, so this 12 by 12 here was actually a challenge to myself. I think it was in November maybe that I had created this. So I have had this collection, Hearth and Home, but I wanted to challenge myself to create a layout that was not Christmassy. So Hearth and Home is a Christmas collection, but I wanted to create a story and a design that I wasn't ready for Christmas yet. So that is what I did here. This here is a puffy alpha that was actually black, so I just colored it in with a gold marker, typed out the journaling, and put it behind one of the chipboard frames. And I think it's a really cute story told. This was a fun way to add just like a little bit of brightness. I'm not one to create on dark a lot, but this pattern paper was so perfect with the piano. Okay, so now I was getting into December Daily, or I was getting prepped at least. So I used Hearth and Home to create this spread here that would eventually be going into my December Daily. So I used a We Are Memories Keeper punch board to create this envelope out of the 12 by 12 paper. I mean, it's so classic. I love it. And the red bow, perfect, so good. So this story was going to be about my kids sending letters to Santa, and I was going to take a photo, or a photo of them putting their letters in the mailbox. But unfortunately, I'm in Canada and our postal service went on strike, and Santa wasn't taking any letters, or you could send them, but he wasn't able to write back this year. So I don't have anything for that, sadly, but I will figure something out. And then I use the 2x2 pocket pages to add in a lot of the ephemera, and that is just super fun. The number there is from Ali Edwards, but all of the ephemera and the confetti are from Rosie Studios, and I love it. It's super fun. I love the bows. Okay, so this story here is about my daughter. Goes into her 6x8 album. And so when I'm trying to design things, I keep a list in my phone that says stories, and basically I just write in things that I don't want to forget. So at this time in my daughter's life, she was saying, wait, what? Like all the time. So it was one of those cute stories that I wanted to remember. So I made a little scrapbook page about it using the Wildwood collection, and it came out super cute. And here is another spread that I ended up putting into my December Daily album. I used Hearth and Home for this, and I will be putting a photo of our Christmas tree there, but I'm super behind. So this is it so far. Just a few more. So this is another beautiful spread that I created, layout that I created. It was my first time. I purchased this cut file from Rosie Studios, and I've never done that before. I've never created a cut file, and so it was super cool to do. I love how it really adds to the layout. This is a fun technique as well. I absolutely love that, and it's just a cute story about my girls at Christmas a couple of years ago. So this is using, again, the Bellevue collection. Okay, here is another story. So I was able to use this stripe here because I felt like it was because of this scattered background here. I love that detail, and it really reminded me of snow. So I created a story about our kids' first snowman this year. Okay, so this layout was a fun one. I actually used two collections for this. This is Us, and Unconditional, I believe, is what I use. So they had these chipboard frames, and I get stumped a bit by the frames, but I love that I created this gallery wall because we had, you know, Christmas at home and Christmases with families, and then I used the pretty paper in the background with some die cuts through, and I really love how it all came together so simply, but it got the stories told. And for the final one here, okay, so this one here, which collection is this? I'm going to guess that it is, yep, it's Wildwood. And this, sorry, I did not mention, this one is Wildwood as well. I'm telling you, Wildwood and Bellevue, they were my favorite ones. I really love this one. Another story about my daughter sleeping. I don't know what it is. They're just so cute when they're sleeping. And I could capture the like best photos, I guess. So just one really big photo with ephemera all around. Again, using one of their die cuts as my title and adding some hidden journaling on the back of this tag. And like I raised up the photo on foam so that I could use it as a pocket. And I really love it. It's so cute and simple. One of the puffy stickers up there and on this beautiful gold foil paper. And that's it. So I really hope you loved taking a look at all the creations that I made for Rosie Studio. I've loved working with them over the last 6 months, and I'm really excited to continue on because I got a lot of stories to tell and a lot more ideas to create. So we will see you again in the next video. Bye.